Perspective podcast, man. We got your two stars hosting it, Brian Sims, and oh my
It's
God,
your,
Cale, man.
it's your boy Cale, man. What's up? What's up with it?
Hey, just talk about, bro, like how we got this started, or how we wanted to get this started, and what's our goal gonna be for the podcast.
hmm Yeah, man. So first things first, we met our junior year, which was the year COVID got big. Was it 2020?
Twenty
We
twenty.
met that year. He transferred to my school, became teammates, and just we kind of like clicked right away. We knew we were both like minded. Had similar visions and just similar thoughts about stuff, and just over the years, we had a lot of deep conversations. We just decided, why not just
Why
make a
not?
podcast about it and share these conversations and thoughts with y'all and get y'all feedback and keep going. So yeah.
Yeah, because like hence the name, it's just so many things that we want to have, and we do have a perspective on, and
hmm
everybody, whether it's sports, politics, relationships, anything. It's so many things that you can have a perspective on, and so that's what we want to bring to you all, and just want to make it fun, entertaining, something that's interactive in the future. So, just we'll do like an intro. So, like I'm Brian, born in Birmingham, Alabama, currently dual sports student athlete at Bob Jones University. Graduated last year. Got my bachelor's in history from Leeds and Craig College. Let's see what else. Yeah, future. Next year definitely want to aspire to be a professional athlete, whether that's basketball, track, and then eventually want to get into law, own businesses, do those types of things. So that's a little bit about me. I ain't gonna give y'all too much, but yeah.
And like I said earlier, my name's Cale. From Charlotte, North Carolina. Last year, I graduated from Leeds McCray College. My bachelor's, my degrees in criminal justice. Uh, I say that's probably what I'm most passionate about. Just like court system, prison system, different stuff you see on the news, stuff like that. That's what I'm most passionate about. Currently getting my master's at a school called Tiffin University in Ohio. Still play basketball here as well, so I'm in my fifth year. And and yeah, man, it's funny because up until COVID, I had wanted to, I wanted to work for this company called the Innocence Project, where they help free the wrongfully convicted, and I also wanted to be a lawyer growing up. So I wanted to do criminal justice stuff up until COVID year, the year me and Brian met. But during that entire COVID year, I just learned a lot about real estate, entrepreneurship, and business. And so from that year on, I still finished out my degree, and that's still what I'm most passionate about is criminal justice. But going forward in the future, I want to do real estate, entrepreneurship, stuff like that. Like I want to own my own businesses. I don't want to, in a sense, work for the government because that's mostly what criminal justice jobs are, jobs for the government. So yeah, just a little bit about us, and yeah.
Yeah, so you kind of hinted to it because kind of what we're gonna talk about today. I mean, both of us have had experiences, you know, owning a business, side
Mm-hmm.
hustle type of thing, and we can get into a little bit of that later. But we recent college graduates, and our generation. What we will say, I mean, anybody that's in their early 20s, early teens, mid teens, like it's a lot of people out there that are start owning businesses at such a young
Mm-hmm.
age, and obviously technology and all that stuff has created those opportunities for us and make it easier. But we just like it's just so different than it was back then, and I like it. Me and you both like we share that sentiment.
Yeah, and I mean, it's like sometimes I was thinking about it, bro. It's like our generation, we got it hard, but we got it easy too. Like it's like a 50-50 coin, I can find out nearly anything I want in a
Mm-hmm.
matter of seconds. All I gotta do is pick this up right here, bada bing, bada boom. I can find out the first president, when the first dollar was made, uh, what's the
Yeah.
score from the game last night. Like you can find out almost anything. How to start a business, how to file LLC, stuff like that. Like it really is crazy how far the world has came.
But then that brings up the question too. Is like seeing that we have all the resources, and me and you have. I mean, we can talk about it. We can talk about it. I mean, like I currently do graphic design. Have a graphic design page on Instagram. You gotta plug yourself where you can. But
Mm-hmm.
and that really came from it. We got to talk about it too. Like the pandemic was definitely
Mm-hmm.
a spark of I don't have nothing to do. Like I mean, you athletes, I want to go to the gym, that's shut down. I want to go do this, that's shut down. So it's like I want to go work, but health wise, I don't really want to go out and work. So let me get a side hustle and learn some things. So it's good. I definitely feel like that has helped us along the way, but I just don't want our generation to become like lazy, kind of like you were talking about, like everything's at our fingertips and we see it. Like we on social media, I see success. I see this teenager that just started Twitch streaming, making millions of dollars. So let me get that right now. But it's like, you know, you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, and then it's like I get that too, but I don't know, man. I feel like in today's world, it'll be very hard to be lazy. The way prices are going up, like if you ain't got a job, if you're not making money, it's like you got to do something.
Well, lazy in the sense of seeing someone else successful.
Oh yeah,
and saying that, you know, it must have been easy, because we see a lot of people go from nothing to something within a year. Like, but even through that, you know, it was hard work and planning to get to that point. Like, you know, we talk about Mr. Beast.
Yeah, even like a lot of people we see on social media now, like that's their chapter 20. They done been grinding for years. You ain't never heard about them. They've you know, they've been grinding for years, and we just not hearing about them. And we trying to compare, you know, our chapter 1 through 5 to somebody's chapter 20 plus.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, definitely use it as a motivation, but don't get what I'm saying, like.
Yeah, and as you know, we talked about this plenty of times, non-recorded, non-on camera. Like, it's nothing wrong with working your job wherever you are in your like, you know, I work at McDonald's or I work at a retail store. Like you said, that might be your chapter 1. However, so and so is doing what they're doing. Like, I like that analogy. Like any book, you know, it's a setup, it's a plot. Before the climax, you got a lot of different chapters before you hit where you really are going to achieve in your full potential. But you see people in comments like, you know, the 9-to-5 lifestyle. It's like I heard a YouTuber, what's his name, Duke Dennis. He was talking about the other day how when he first started off, he would work his job, wake up early in the morning, go to work. When he get out of work, he would stream, and he did that for a year until he started growing, and now he one of the biggest influences on the internet. So,
and another thing too, it's like people gotta realize it's 1,000 ways to skin a cat. You know, I can work a 9-to-5 and do a side hustle, or you know, spend time studying a way to make money, and a year or two from now, while still working my 9-to-5, be rich and successful or be financially free. Like I don't have to, you know, stream, hit the lottery, sell, make one-time big sale. Like it's many different ways to be successful and get what you want. Like
and to have financial freedom.
Which is different for everybody.
It's different for everybody, because me and you, we're both current, you know, past entrepreneurs. That's something that we wanted to do, but somebody can be financially free and happy without having a business. Like you don't have to be financially free just owning a business. That's, like I said, it's a great thing that our generation loves, being, you know, having an entrepreneurial spirit. But if you're passionate about, you know, cutting hair, or you're passionate about cooking, and that's, you know, or just certain things you do, and you want to go work for the top restaurant in the world before you get to where you want to get to, that's okay, because like you said, success, somebody working, coming home to their wife and kids, or husband and their kids every day, that's their definition of success. And we have to be okay with knowing that my success is not Cale's success.
Yeah, I definitely think this generation has some of us have a case of instant gratification. You know, I want to make the big time transaction on crypto one day and hope I just get rich overnight. That's
don't get started on crypto, bro.
The chances of stuff like that happening is rare. Like people have to not necessarily enjoy the grind, but understand there will be a grind to be successful. And it could take months, years, however long, but like it's gonna be a grind. You're not just gonna wake up one day and have it all figured out at the you know, the flip of a switch.
It did. I mean, this conversation is definitely targeted to people our age, but we're young, bro. Like it's you know, like people say life is short, which it is. You need to cherish every day. We both believe that. But man, it's so much to do, and it's so much to learn. But like you said, you can't instant. You're young. You just finished college, and you know, we can get on this subject as well. I mean, we both just graduated college, And
Mm-hmm.
we've been hearing that, oh, degree, degree, degree. Get your degree. Life is just so much easier. And we're in grad school, but it's plenty of people that I guess a lot of people know that have a degree, and how hard is it to find a job in your particular field with a degree?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Here's what I'll say about degrees. It's as simple as this.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
If you want to be a doctor, a lawyer, an astronaut, stuff like that, then yes, you need a degree. But anything besides jobs like that, you don't really need a degree. You may need a certification or a specific training from a specific place, but unless you want to be a doctor, lawyer, astronaut, a degree is probably not necessary for you to get a good job or be financially free.
And so, okay, and like what you're saying, I agree with you wholeheartedly. What you're saying is going to college, is not, like you said, you're not saying it's bad, but we talk about us being entrepreneurs. We've been taught this sentiment that you go to school, you get your degree, life is made.
Take out loans.
Take out loans. But like you said, man, it's plenty of people that, hey, I want to get into plumbing. I want to get my own, I want to start being I want to go to trade school. And we've always talked about how, to me, it's not really college, because I think college does teach you some essential skills, like, just being independent, time management, all those types of things. You're going to need the rest of your life, responsibilities, priorities. But when it gets to the point to where, I want to be a lawyer. Why am I learning chemistry in college? It needs to be specifically based to what I want to do. Personally, I feel like you could really cut them first 2 years out of them courses and just have 2 years of major based courses. So
and it's funny, like I didn't even know that was a thing. Like I didn't know that your first 2 years in college was just gen ed. I didn't know that till I got to college. I thought when you got to college, it was 4 years of whatever you were majoring in, whatever you were passionate about. But the first 2 years, it's gen ed. Like I'm a criminal justice guy. I had to take science. I just took art. Like it's a lot of
we took art together.
It's a lot of extra classes in there that don't necessarily, will help you in your career. Just like high school. Like I can't remember why it was mx squared plus b, but I had to do that every day religiously.
I think you said it wrong. It's just why it was mx.
My point. Exactly. My point.
See, folks, college grad right here. College grad, folks.
I can't even remember that stuff from high school, but it was drilled in my mind every day, and I will never use some of that stuff again. So, but like I said, it's a certain amount of jobs. I feel like a select few that require a degree and need a degree and should have a degree requirement, but 90% of jobs you don't need one for.
And then just think about how many things that we either had to learn on the fly or go on YouTube and learn, like even with credit. I always said I'm a humble person. Cale helped me with credit, with building credit. It's like building credit, financial literacy, writing out a check. If certain things about paying tax, I want to buy a house, I want to buy a car. You graduate and whoever it was, scholarships from sports or scholarships from aid. Some people graduate college with no student loan, no student debt. Some don't. But you leave and it's like, okay, I get a job. Oh man, taxes and all of this stuff and just payments and car and credit. It's like nobody taught me this. And instead of gen ed, it needs to be life ed. General education. Like you said, I value education. I'm proud to say I had a summa cum laude, graduated, all of that. But what I will say is some things that I might have seen on YouTube are more valuable than what I learned my freshman year of college. Because it was life education versus general education.
The only class in high school I could say that was gen ed that should still be there is PE. But literally everything else.
Even then, forcing people to exercise and they don't want to is like,
I can see that.
We like that,
But art, science, history, stuff like that. It's like, I don't know. I wonder how often the school systems, and I know colleges and universities are different than high schools. I wonder how often they like update their gen ed. Like it's every 4 years, every 10 years, there's a new thing come out and say, all right, here's what we're teaching. Like I wonder how often that stuff gets updated.
Yeah, like that curriculum. Because what I will say, and hands down, we love our educators. We love people that are valuable, just valuable to the educational learning process. We commend teachers and professors. It's not us saying that we don't think you know, those people don't matter because there's some hardworking people that don't get paid enough to do what they do.
A lot of
What we are saying is the curriculum and how things are taught is not necessarily preparing you for life the way that we were taught. The way that we were taught, because I mean, we can get down to it. I don't want to go down this rabbit hole, but you know, we do rabbit holes. Like education wasn't always something offered to certain groups of people, as we know that. So the value of education became more so of we, you know, African Americans and other marginalized groups of people weren't allowed to have certain resources and certain opportunities, education. So that's why HBCUs were created to create opportunities for blacks. And education came to seem as this is a privilege. We couldn't read or write just because that was a rule. You couldn't read. So now getting education was something that you need, and you to be successful in life, you need to learn how to read and write. But now these things, and just through progression and through things changing, that's something that we can look back on as, you know, just learning and being knowledgeable for those people that, you know, were our ancestors and sacrificed and did all those things. We look at that and now and say, I want to value being knowledgeable and being wise. But that doesn't always have to be necessarily in school. Like you said, any topic you want to learn about, you can YouTube it. And so I think that's just, you go ahead.
And I definitely think, I mean, I know I've told you this before 1,000 times. I definitely feel like our generation is going to be the first generation that traditional schooling is not going to be popular with. Like everybody's
saying the way that we like parent our kids.
I'm saying like I guess either us or our kids. I feel like most of them are going to have high school diplomas and maybe community college degrees, but it's like masters, you know, doctorate, bachelors. I feel like when we get older, that stuff's not going to be as popular because our generation is going to be so many entrepreneurs. Like I just don't feel like our generation is going to value education, traditional education, as much over stuff like YouTube, Google. Let me pay a mentor or pay for someone's course and take that. Like I feel like that stuff's gonna be more popular than going to school for 4 years, taking out a $100K loan, XYZ, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, either the system has to change, and we always talk about how school is way too expensive in other countries. I think you're more knowledgeable about that than me. Other countries, it's free. You can go to school for free. So we talked about it. Sometimes a degree, you know, I made it is a status symbol, and as we know, and like this is somebody that has a college degree. And like I said, I feel like anything you sign your name to, you put your name to, even if you don't like it, finish it. You know, finish strong. You know, readjust, do something. But if you're doing something currently, either finish all the way into what you've done, or readjust and do another plan. But the status is starting to dwindle. That's all I'm saying. Like the status of I got my college degree or I got my master's, it's like that's great, but it's somebody that's more skilled than you that has a skill that'll make more money than you at the age that you're at, just because, like you said, the mindset of that status is gone. Like like I said, the progression of feel like our parents and that generation, that status of having a bachelor's degree was very important. And now, like you're saying, when we have kids, you know, 20 years from now, it'll be like, I'm a YouTuber at 16 making millions. I don't have to go to college, like, you know. But I don't need to go too long. I feel like the experience of college, and you know, I mean, the independence of, I feel like it's just so normal. Just okay, you 18, you graduate high school. Obviously, you have your exceptions, but a lot of kids want to go to college to experience what it's like. I'm still technically, some people, I'm on my parents' dime for 4 more years, and I can learn what it's like to be an adult. So the system that college has set is so firm that
it's like it's rooted in history, like literally.
Yeah, I do feel like it'll be drastic things change as far as curriculum versus attendance. Like people are gonna go to college. Like,
and I mean, you know, some people say memories are priceless. You know, some of your best years you could argue are in college. You're young, you ain't got too much to worry about, or maybe you got a lot to worry about. I mean, but you could argue that the memories you have at college and the relationships, the people you meet and stuff like that is priceless. So I definitely, you know, I'm not saying college is gonna be exiled and no one ever go, but I do feel like a lot, it'll be like a 51-49. Like majority, whatever that percentage is going to choose, I want to be my own boss, entrepreneur. I'm not doing traditional schooling over let me go get a 4-year degree and become an employee. Because that's what I feel like. That's what I feel like high school especially teaches you is how to become an employee, not how to become your own boss.
Elaborate more on that.
Well, just because like we talk about life skills. You know, I don't know how to do my own taxes. I got to go to somebody to do that. I don't know anything about just financial literacy. But the second I turn 18, I gotta pay for all my stuff. I gotta pay taxes on that. If I mess that up, I'm going to jail. Like it doesn't teach you life skills, like I said. And I don't know. I mean, I would argue this even if I don't have a degree, so I can't go. You know, I guess I can't go get certain jobs. Like I would have to be more creative with how I make money. So maybe I start a side hustle like washing cars, cutting hair, you know, what's it called, landscaping, stuff like that. I'll have to be more creative because I can't just go use my degree and go get a job at the courthouse. But you know, your degree was what, history?
Yeah, history.
I mean, I don't know what
it was political science.
Yeah.
And I transferred.
Well, so, even if I majored in nursing, I can go work at a hospital. But if I don't have no degree to my name, I feel like you could make the argument I have to be more creative with ways to make money.
And I think like the biggest thing is what we're trying to say is experience and skill, certifications, that type of things will get you a job or get you a career that you're comfortable in. Because I mean, just to be transparent, I graduated in May, and throughout the summer, I got my paralegal certificate. And so obviously I'm in school, so a lot of positions on being a paralegal, they want full time. So with my schedule with athletics with school, I can't do full time. So part time is something I'm looking for. But even then, just looking through applications, you see minimum 2 years of this experience here, and it's just like the years in college. I feel like the mindset should be more so, okay, I care about my studies. I want to pass college. I want to graduate. But in my free time internships, getting some experience, like to get mentors, that experience is valuable. So when I graduate, I don't have to, like, you know, what's the saying? Like, I want to get a job, but the job I'm applying for says I need experience.
Job experience. But I can't get
experience without working.
By having a job. Yeah. Like, which is it's so ironic too.
And like that just goes back to what we're saying. Is like school is valuable. I mean, I cherished it. I mean, we graduated, but it seems like it could be a better way to utilize those 4 years. Because I'm not saying we're behind where we are now, but learning about credit, opening the credit card account way earlier than I did, just learning some stuff, and it's just like that. Those types of things, those life important skills that you will always have to do, no matter how old you are just things where I feel like if I was to tell my younger self, how could I be more prepared for adulthood, it would be more of those life skills types of things, and not make sure you study for your chemistry exam tomorrow.
And I think in the future, the question is going to come down to, do I want to go get a piece of paper in a sense, or do I want to work and make money for 4 years? I think that's what's going to come down to. Do I want to go to college? And, you know, like I said, if you're a doctor, lawyer, nurse, astronaut, okay. But for most of us, that's not going to be most of us. Do I want to go get a piece of paper, or do I want to start my life, in a sense, 4 years earlier and work, maybe live with my parents, maybe move out, live on my own, and take an early step into the real world? I think that's what it's going to come down to. That question right there. Yeah. Which side of the fence are you on?
Yeah. And I mean, and like I said, it's never too late to start your dreams, to invest in yourself. And even people now that you might have graduated and you feel like you wasted time, it's still time for just opportunity. We're only in our 20s. Only in your 20s. Even if you're in your 60s or 70s and you still want to accomplish what you want to accomplish, we can't let what the stereotypical rhetoric say, okay, hey, this is what success is. If you do this, this, and this, you're a successful person. Bump that, live your life, you know, learn, access. It's just, you know, it's so many ways that we can impact the world, impact people in our lives. And that's the main goal. And so that's the big thing I think that's great about like people like me and you, and just the next generation who are really highlighting is that we're the things that we're gonna say to we're gonna say and do to that next generation they're gonna approach it, I feel like, with less fear. A lot of people go into their lives and go into their next step in their life, and I mean me included, with I'm scared of this because what if I'm not blank? What if I don't have enough blank? You know, all of those experiences, we need to eliminate the fear of the just the
With
want to be
society and stuff like that.
The fear, I'm saying the fear of obviously the fear of failure, but the fear of unpreparedness. Like, you know, when I graduate, I don't really know where I'm gonna work. And obviously, you know, everybody struggles with where they'll be locationally, and that's understandable. But just I feel like each generation should set the next generation better up than they were, and that's I feel like our job is to eliminate that fear of you're gonna fail, you're gonna mess up. Get that out of your mind. You know what I mean? Like get that out of your brain. You know what I mean? So eliminate that fear. Approach it with less. Because just think about it. Video games. Hey, you better get off that game and get on your book. What is that gonna earn you? That was what parents said 20 years ago. And you know more about gaming than me, but
I mean, I can speak on it real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, probably it depends who you watch, but probably Ninja's probably like the most
Ninja.
generally known. But it's just like this, bro. 20 years ago, I mean, hell, maybe even 10 years ago, parents were saying, get off the game, go outside, do something, anything besides play the game. And we have went from that to now you can literally, we talk about college now, you can literally get a scholarship to go to college, get 4 years, 5 years, 2 years paid for free from playing the game. They give out scholarships now. So it's like just and that's just in the last maybe 10 years, Brian. I don't know when the first esports team came out, but it's got to be in the last 20 years, I'm sure. But it's like
popularity is the last few years popularity. I know it's probably been around, or just it was probably more so clubs.
But it's just like, let's just say, generally speaking, in the last 20 years, that statement alone has changed completely. From get off the game, I don't want you playing it, to son, you want a webcam, a microphone, a new controller, a monitor, and then it's like, not only can you get a scholarship and get free college from it, you could become very, very financially well off. It's many, minors, I guess, under 18-year-olds who stream and make way more money than doctors, lawyers, astronauts, or people even who have higher education levels than that. Like, it is literally crazy the amount of money you can make from playing the game. But that's just one example of how in the past 20 years, one way of thinking is completely different now.
And like you said, if you were to poll someone and say which job is more valuable to society, a doctor or a Twitch streamer?
Some people maybe not even know what that is. A Twitch streamer.
Exactly, and
that's the point.
And like I have family members that are in the medical field, so I definitely know the importance, and I feel like even then it's still things that people in the health professionals are still, in a sense, could be compensated more, those types of things.
I agree.
The status of that is because whenever you're, what do you want to, if a teacher were to be in a classroom of 20 kids, and she or he would say, what do you want to be when you grow up? The stereotypical status answers are doctor, lawyer, like you say, policeman, the status. And even though those occupations and careers are tremendously important to society, it's so many people in the world will never not have enough doctors, because it's people that's what they want to do. I just want, like, our sentiments to be to our next generation is to say, like you said, hey, that game not gonna get you nowhere. Hey, what are you passionate about?
Like, is it gaming? It could. I mean,
and just think about it. What if you have parent, guardian, grandparent, uncle, auntie that is supportive in the sense of their kids? Hey, mom, I want to Twitch and stream. Can I use my Christmas money to go buy this mic and all that type of stuff? Somebody will be even more inclined to say, you know what? They support my passion. I'm gonna get my degree and continue to grow while I'm doing what they're investing in. Do you think kids would be more inclined to go to college if their passions were more investing in line with their parents?
Like when they're younger on in life?
Like when they're younger, yeah.
If like parents supported their kids' passions younger on in life, would they be more inclined to go to college? Is that the question?
Yes. because then it wouldn't be a need to, because they know their parents, hey, I don't want to go to college because I got a plan to do this.
Mm-hmm.
But they still would be like, what if they want me to? You know, you got priceless memories. And like I said, what if it's more so, hey son, I want you to go for the memories, for what it's like, the individual. Like, you don't have to grow up so fast. If you're in a position not to grow up so fast, it's okay not to grow up so fast. To go to college, enjoy yourself, have fun. You know, you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, to answer your question, I definitely say yes, kids will go, be more inclined to go. But on the flip side, I don't think many kids will, as much kids will finish. I'll go to college for a year or two, go to a 4-year school for a year or two, get the experience. But hey, if my side hustle, my passion is now my main source of income and I can, be well off with it, I'm not going to finish school. If it's me cutting hair, if I'm making, let's just say, 80K a year cutting hair, and I'm in my second, going on 30 year college, do I really need to get my degree in whatever it is?
And as me and you know, college brings you stress, just unwanted stress. And it's not necessarily hard, but it's just like, I don't feel like getting up every day early.
Mm-hmm.
But that, like you said, that's the mindset of an employee. It's gonna be days. It's gonna be days. I mean, we play basketball, at college. It's days where you don't feel like doing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
People have created a lifestyle now, and it's so attractive. And that's why I was saying towards the beginning, we have to know everybody's on a different chapter in their life. Somebody that can choose when they get up to choose when they work because they have passive income and they have a business set up, they didn't get there overnight.
Mm-hmm.
But that, I got an 8 a.m. class tomorrow. It's like, we've been taught that's life. You gotta be able to, and it's just like, now I'm seeing people that, hey, I choose when I can work. I've made X amount of dollars over 6 months. I'm taking the last 6 off and traveling the world, and so.
And that goes back to something I said earlier. It's like, but if you want that lifestyle, you're gonna have to know that there's a grind that comes with it. There's a grind coming. For me to take half the year off and go on vacation, I have to be making enough money to be able to afford all that. Like, so there will be a grind, regardless if you go to school or if you follow that passion or side hustle. It's gonna be a grind either way. You just gotta weigh the outcomes.
And transitioning to still kind of on college, but just a lot of things are becoming commercialized, like athletics. So I'm of the belief that there will be more guys and girls that compete in college athletically that are going to stay in college longer due to name, image, and likeness, NIL. So,
which was long overdue.
It's definitely long overdue. So, but now those are the types of things where I feel like incentives, opportunities will be created for college students even more at an all-time high, not just for athletes, but for your top students, for companies to say, hey, you know what? Let me start paying you a salary while you're in school. Let me incentivize you. You know what I mean? So, like overtime, OTE, or just going straight pro. It's guys that say, hey, I could go to the draft this year. Maybe I'll get picked second round, or I can stay another year, get my game better, and I'm making hundreds of thousands with NIL.
And it's like, I mean, like I said earlier, I'm from Charlotte, y'all. North Carolina, Chapel Hill, my favorite team. Armando Bacot, their center. I think I was talking to my friend the other day who goes to Carolina. He said his Bacot NIL evaluation is like over $1 million. And I mean, I think
name some of his brands. Name some of his brands he's with.
Well, I know one of them is Neutrogena. That's the main one I know. I was on his Instagram the other day, not looking too hard, but that's one of them I know. But it's like, I think this is his senior too. So he's about to get his degree from a good school, and he's making over $1 million a year for playing basketball and being respectful. And I'd even argue with NIL, it turns you into more of a business minded person, because you have to now present yourself in a certain way, know that, hey, I got a brand that's supporting me, so I really got to be on my P's and Q's. I can't be out here getting caught up doing speeding on the road, drinking at parties, something that's going to tarnish my name and take away my money. So NILs are a good thing for, I feel like, everyone involved. The brand gets the athlete to represent them. The athlete has to mature up and say, hey, I'm representing more than just me.
And a key word there is discipline. Like, one thing college will do, if anybody has graduated, you had to have some type of discipline, and everybody's different. You had to have some type of discipline to finish. And now, like you're saying, that discipline and that focus is incentivized even more, because, hey, I can lose my NIL if my GPA is low. I can lose certain deals if I get in trouble. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
we're being incentivized now as athletes and for the future generation of athletes to say, hey, go to school, learn some things that might help you in life, might not. But also companies are valuing you like and you're an athlete. So I feel like it'll be extended because you all know, we know athletes get a lot of scrutiny just because athletes shouldn't get scholarships because they don't do work. We have the jock persona. They think that we don't do work, we're not smart.
Mm-hmm.
But now I think certain internships that students were in that weren't athletes will
Mm-hmm.
now start incentivizing the students even more because now you're incentivizing the person and
Mm-hmm.
not just some like somebody can be incentivized to say I work for like say what's the company? I
I mean,
work for a
Google,
bank. I work for
bank.
Google
Uh-huh.
internship, and you know how I feel about unpaid internships for college students. You know how I feel about that.
I had to do an internship this summer to get my degree. I'm paid.
Yeah, so if that starts to change, and if companies start seeing the wave, they will start incentivizing college students. And now, hey, I can make let me lowball. I can make an extra 5 to 10,000 a year working or a semester or whatever working with a certain company in college. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
and when I graduate, I have an incentive of a full-time job, a career that I want.
Mm-hmm.
Now you
And,
talking.
and people got to realize too. I mean, I'm not a CEO of any company, but I can only imagine that it's a CEO or a boss's dream that someone who is young, either in college or fresh out of college wants to come work for them because they know they're young, they got time on their hands, they probably ain't got a wife and kids or husband and kids at home. Like they ready to come in and work and hit the ground running. So it's like even for people our age, like companies want people like us. They want young people whose life is ahead of them to help grow the company, grow with the company, and just overall hit the ground running. Versus somebody who's been working for 45 years and is burnt out. Like we young, fresh,
Mm.
ready to go.
You want somebody eyes wide, ready to get
Mm-hmm.
after it.
It's just eager and anxious to work and be successful. Yeah.
So after having that conversation, that topic about school, entrepreneurial spirit for our generation,
Mm-hmm.
definitely before we get into our careers and everything that we wanted to do, really, I mean, we had to work a few jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So we just gonna talk about some unique experiences, some just things that went on that made me realize like, some of these jobs are not jobs that I want to work for the rest of my life. So
Mm-hmm.
I guess for you, what do you think was your like
I mean, it's
best
bro.
and worst job? Best and worst job.
Best job I say is Autobell. I don't know. Autobell is I think it's like only in the South, only a few states. Autobell is a car wash. You go through and then people like me, crew members, we clean the inside and outside your car. That was my best job. My worst job was working at a warehouse in Charlotte, and it doesn't even come close. Before Brian talks about his jobs, I've worked probably over a dozen jobs. I'm only 22 and I've worked over a dozen jobs from everything from food to a warehouse
Mm.
to working a more high end job at a golf course. Any job you could think of, I've probably worked it.
What made you like change so much?
Well, I mean, funny enough, my first job was working at Arby's, the sandwich place, and then I moved literally a month later. So I was only at Arby's for 30 days.
Mm. You had to
Moved,
meet.
I had to make the meat, but I mean, I don't know. It's just like over my time, especially growing up, I had anything I wanted, I pretty much had to get on my own. Like I didn't, ask my parents for really anything. So with that being said, anything I wanted, food, clothes, yada yada, X, Y, Z, 1, 2, 3, I had to go get. And I wasn't out here stealing stuff, so I had to get a job and make money to buy things. So that I think that's the explanation for why I worked a lot of jobs, was because I wanted stuff. Like I said, Audible, that was my favorite job just because it taught me so much just about working hard and like kind of instant gratification. But also, even when you work hard sometimes, things still might not go your way. Perfect example, you know, we get cars coming in at the worst point, like, visually wise, like 30, food in the backseat, people not taking care of them. And literally in the matter of 10 to 20 minutes, we completely transform the car. Now, obviously, it's not like a real detail. We're really in there scrubbing, using expensive products. It is an express car wash, but you get a car that comes in that's completely filthy, and you by yourself single handedly transform the car and make the customer leave happy. That was
Mm-hmm.
definitely a good thing I feel like I learned from there. Just like, you working hard and you can really completely transform something. And for me, it was just happened to be the inside of cars.
Yeah. So for me, like my first job, just because I was always so busy during the summer, like I was marching band, basketball, did all that stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get my first like official job until I graduated high school. And I think my first job, now I think about it, my first job was probably my favorite job. I worked at a grocery store, and I would say it's probably my favorite just because it was just fun. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't too hard. Sometimes just loading the shelves, not really talking to people, but sometimes I'm talking to customers, telling them where things are. So I thought that was pretty fun. My
Mm-hmm.
least favorite job, which I
What was
always
it? What was the name
told,
of the store?
it was called Fresh Value Market. It's like a local
Okay.
store. But I've always like when I was younger, I used to always be like, I didn't want it as a career, but I wanted to see what food service was like. I was like, it would seem
The worst,
fun to work at food service.
the
So
worst
I'm
job
like,
there
okay.
is.
I'm like, all right, right up. Because now I will say, every job at my home I had was like a 2 mile radius, so I could get to work in like 3 4 minutes. So during the summer, I would go work out, go to the gym, and then when I finished leaving the gym, just go home, shower, boom, go to work. It was easy, it was simple. Bojangles. Now I love me some Bojangles. Before I say this, I'm not affiliated with Bojangles now, because like I said, every experience was a good experience. It was a good life experience. But going in, I had expectations like I wanted to just learn some stuff. I think it'll be fun and do orders. But when you are like the only cook,
In the trenches.
you never like. I don't think I've ever the summer that I worked there. I don't think my manager ever came up to me and said, "Hey, go get you a break." Maybe like once or twice, but it was times where I just had to go make me some food in the back. Oh, here, order, here it comes. And to me, that's when I had the thing, and I know we always talk about this. It made me feel like, okay, I'm getting paid $9 an hour. Whether this chicken gets out in 30 seconds or 30 minutes, I get $9 an hour. And so I didn't like the job because it's not what I was doing. It was just the demand on how much I had to do and it was expected of me to do was just like
Did
it
it
kind of
make your value feel less?
it made my value feel less because obviously the person that creates the company or that manages that's the CEO is gonna make more money than the people that are working in the restaurant. But it's to a certain extent to where as an employee or as an associate to this company, how am I incentivized to, represent the Bojangles or whatever company's name the best when I'm not in a sense being rewarded, not just with my
Mm-hmm.
compensation, which I think should have been higher, but with scheduling. Like, why am I the only cook having to do like if anybody's worked at chicken places know and biscuits like we made our biscuits homemade. So if we run out of biscuits, it wasn't just get it out the freezer, put it up. You had to like it was like a
Roll the
process,
dough, all that. Yep.
all that stuff. So it was like obviously I felt it was fun at first. But once it's like I'm going home like miserable, tired, it was just a lot of jobs. It gave me a lot of perspective. Gave me a lot of perspective, just in life that a lot of times people look down on people that work in certain places. And I met some great people there that, when you working and you with people just start telling you their life story. And people
You got
tell
nothing
you
but
things,
time.
they got a number of time you're working, you're doing all that, telling you their life story. And it's like people really work hard and really grind hard. And a lot of misconceptions, especially with fast food retail jobs, go, oh, this person, they don't work hard. They don't. It's the people that really work hard, and life happens for a lot of people. And that perspective in itself gave me more respect for, when my orders slow or if somebody's understaffed, because I know what it's like being understaffed. If you got somebody that's working the cashier and somebody cooking, your food is not coming out fast. I'm sorry. That's one thing I commend Chick-fil-A. They have a great amount of employees. There's some restaurants out here that if you got a cook and a person that's doing drive through and what do they call it when you dine in?
Yeah. Lobby, yeah.
Your food is not coming out fast. So now that I say that, it definitely wasn't my favorite job working. But when it comes to perspective wise, it gave me so much perspective on how to view just that's not what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. But I respected the people so much because I know how much work it took to get them orders out, to wash dishes, to close. All I knew how much hard work it took because I feel like it's people that work harder doing jobs like that than somebody that's, hey, I work in real estate, I work at a bank. You're sitting down, you might be calling phones, on the calling, having phone calls, but
yeah,
your hands ain't getting dirty.
Yeah, and I'll definitely say, going on to my least favorite job now, honorable mention is McDonald's. I hated that place. I hated that place so much that I went from working like second shift to third shift overnight because it was less people. Like I absolutely hated McDonald's. And I mean, you talk about what we talk about, feeling like less of a value. I don't heard people in there say, y'all don't even deserve what y'all make now, which is $7.25, at least at the McDonald's I worked at in Charlotte. And then Audubell, we make tips, but it was still $7.25. But it's like McDonald's is definitely an honorable mention. That place was terrible. But my least favorite job, and I only worked there for a summer, 3 months, came back to college break, obviously, was a warehouse in in Charlotte called Genpack. And it's different plants, like paper plant, plastic plant. I worked in the paper plant. And ironically, we made the bags from McDonald's. But I guess it all came full circle. But that was my job was to
That's funny.
Take the bags from the machines, like the pallet, load them up into a pallet, wrap them up in plastic wrap, and forklift them back to the back of the warehouse. That was my job, like to sit there and watch a robot pick up the heavy pallets, pick up the heavy bundles, put them on a pallet, and I wrap it up, put it to the back of the warehouse. And the reason that was my least favorite job was because, for one, it was 12-hour shifts. I never worked that long.
How old were you?
This was the summer. This was the summer after my freshman year, so I had to be 19. I was 17 when I got to college. 18. I had to be at least 18, 19.
I think it was. Was that the summer before I met you?
This is the summer between my freshman year and sophomore year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we met junior year. But to slowly bring it to the end. Like I said, working that long, that consistently, 12 hours, 2 to 4 days a week. I had never done that before. The pay was fine. I mean, I think it was like 15 an hour. But the thing that stuck out to me the most was that there were people in there who were, I'm 20, let's just say I'm 20 years old. I think it was 18, 19. I'm 20 years old. There are people in there working that are 40 years older than me. So I'm in there with literal seniors, our grandparents' age, if not older, who have been working there their entire life, the past 10 years, the past 20 years, 12-hour shifts for pretty much, $15 is fine, but you could argue that's still minimum wage. So it's like that was the biggest perspective I got from that was, I don't want this to be me. I don't want to spend 40 years, 40 years working in a paper plant, 12 hours a day, 2 to 4 days a week for 40 years. Because it's with a 12-hour shift, it may take you an hour or two to get home and get relaxed. And then, you got to factor in, when am I going to eat? Definitely got to sleep. Then, you can't just show up. I work from 7 to 7. You can't just show up at 7. I gotta leave the house at 5:30, something like that, to get to my job a little early so I can be ready to go. So yeah, like I said, just seeing older people who have been working there for a long time, that made me say, and again, this is before COVID. That made me say, you know what? Maybe I do want to do something where I'm my own boss. Because I can't be working, 40-hour weeks at age 60, 50, 40, 20. So yeah, that was definitely my least favorite job.
And I think the reason why, and it's all connecting together, which is perfect. The reason why I feel like our, generation and this next up and coming group of successful people want to go towards entrepreneurship because, me and you both know, in a lot of jobs you have salaries, so you know what you're gonna make. But it's jobs where we've worked. Well, like I said, I can go in. It can be a hard day, or it can be an easy day, and that to me is obviously we weren't working somewhere where what we were passionate about. Because once you're passionate about something, it's not about the pay. But I am of the belief, because like in the pandemic, I told you this before, when the world stopped, right, when nothing else was going on, health professionals and grocery store workers, fast food employees were deemed as essential workers.
Essential.
So if somebody is essential, and that's what I'm saying, people can look down on you going out to eat, those fast food lines, those restaurants didn't stop working, didn't stop, people still had to go in through all of the sickness and everything going around, were deemed as essential. So it's like kind of like with college, that mindset on the status of a hardworking individual that's working an honest job should be viewed as that. Just because, like we say, it's some people that enjoy doing certain things like that. But why aren't they, in a sense, compensated
or treated,
and treated like what they deserve? Because last point right here, I did a paper my junior year, kind of comparing like the CEOs of some restaurants, some businesses versus their employees' pay. I'm not saying they need to be paid the same, but if a CEO can't do exactly what a person that's working could do, it's just like the living, like the cost of living, as it's out of this. It's getting crazy. Why aren't jobs and businesses adjusting how they pay people to gas prices, which is kind of going down now? Hopefully, it stay like that. And apartment living, housing, everything is going up other than the national, overall minimum wage.
And it's like, it's funny too, bro, because I actually, worked during the pandemic and afterwards. I worked at, Dollar General. And it's like you said, before McDonald's, grocery store workers, we lazy, get a real job, yada, yada, yada. But now I'm seeing the same people come in there saying, hey, Cale, when the next truck coming in? I need this and that for my family. You get what I'm saying? And something else I want to add too, you talk about, let's just say McDonald's, for example, during the pandemic. Them lines was long, and they were still underpaid, and they was also understaffed. It's like we supposed to do this, have the same production, same efficiency with half the staff here. Like and
that's the frustrating part. It's like I said, I go in and it's chaotic, and I'm getting paid $9 an hour. I go in, it's a light day, I'm getting paid $9 an hour. What incentive? Because I worked at a Five Below company. It's like a fun, toy, kind of like a dollar store, Dollar Tree, Dollar General with toys, real fun for kids. And I worked at the checkout area, so it was really a smooth job. But my manager came up to me and was like, hey, when customers check out, be sure to tell them to give us a 5-star rating because it helps with that. I know managers are incentivized for that, but I was thinking, okay, she's not around me all the time watching me do my job. So what incentive do I get telling the customer, hey, we would love for you to rate us at 5 stars? And I know some jobs do commissions and incentives, but it's some companies that want you to go above and beyond for them, for their,
for the bare pockets in return.
But you get, in a sense, whether you do your job well. Like I said, you can go into your job with the mindset of don't get fired. Just don't get fired. Like, excelling and being the employee of the month. I think I still got some employee thing, I don't know how I did, but they were trying, when I left, they were trying to give me to work full time. So I was like, nah. But I'm not, in a sense, being rewarded for, hey, this is, so it's just, that's my only thing with this is like, everybody's heard the topics of people need to be paid more, and the national people trying to get the wage to be $15 an hour. And then even still with a family with kids, we all know $15 an hour is not a sustainable and a comfortable wage to be living off, even if you're working 40, 40 is the full-time thing. You do the math, and the poverty is just so, and I think the question will be like, we talk about entrepreneurship, we talk about people doing opportunities. People make it sometimes seem so easy to get out of those types of situations. So if somebody went to college, I just say, hey, things don't work like that. Life happens. And life, when I say life happens, I mean, just things that you can't think of, loved ones or new responsibilities coming up. A lot of reasons why people might not go to school or not chase their passions. We sometimes make it seem easy to get out of, hey, why don't you just get another job? Why don't you just And it's like you say, we have been trained from college to be an employee.
Yep.
So if you're a hard worker and you're in the system, like, hey, I got bills due, but I want to apply for a job, you kind of get caught in the situation of, hey, I could start working search for a job, but I need to pay this bill next month. People are only getting paid enough just to restart over and get back to work for the next month.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and I mean, it's still insane to me. I remember when I worked at McDonald's, people get paid bi-weekly still. I get 2 paychecks a month, but for 28 days, I get paid twice.
now that's good if you're on salary, like.
Yeah. But we talking about, like minimum wage jobs, part-time jobs. So I get paid 2 times a month. Uncle Sam gonna take a third of that, maybe a little more than that. Like, and I'm supposed to provide for me, my wife, my 2 kids, and still be comfortable.
Uncle Sam gonna stay good. Uncle Sam gonna be good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really is crazy though. But yeah, man, like you said, if we deem so essential, treat us like that.
Yeah.
Treat us essential. We're not saying we should make more than doctors and lawyers, but minimum wage or a few dollars above that, man, cut the crap.
Yeah. What do you think the minimum wage should be? Like if you were to have a target number, like the bare minimum companies can pay employees, what would you say?
I don't mind going against the grain. I'd say it should be 20. 20 should be the bare minimum. Because I think about it like this too. I mean, McDonald's, Bojangles. If I'm making it, and which I did, I make $7.25 an hour at McDonald's. A customer can come in here and get a Big Mac for $5, just a sandwich. Mm-hmm. Let alone the meal gonna be. I mean, I was at McDonald's the other day. The meal is like $10, $11. So one meal, I have to work an hour and a half just to afford one meal here. If we want to be technical.
Man, I remember Bojangles. They said the maximum we can get if we want to make us something is $4.40. Like that was your maximum. And I'm looking at the menu like,
yeah. And that's the funny thing too. $4.40. You talk about how you incentivize to do good at these jobs. What McDonald's and Bojangles do? Oh, we give you a 10% discount on employee meals. Like stuff like that, bro. But yeah, I think back to the point. I think minimum wage should at least be 20. What do you think?
And it's like, I kind of got a counter argument, and I got a counter argument for that counter argument. Watch this. Mm-hmm. The reason why, okay, retention rate, okay, we can't pay people that much because it's mostly, college or high school students. They'll be seasonal. It's mostly seasonal. Not that many people will work. If you really think about it, and like we always said, success is different for everybody. If somebody could be working at a job, 9 to 5, minimum wage, at a working at a McDonald's, whatever, and they're incentivized, like I think it should be 20, 25 in that range.
Mm-hmm. 25 not bad
either. The retention rate of minimum wage jobs will be more when people get paid more because we're taught to be an employee. So if somebody says, you know what, while I'm in high school, I'm gonna grind it out, I'm gonna work at McDonald's, I might go to school, might not. You now, with certain savings and certain knowledge about financial literacy, can create certain more opportunities for yourself due to what you're making. If I'm only making the bare minimum to just get by for the next month, how can I want to start my own hair care line. I want to start my own clothing brand. And we see that so much. But companies, yes, you can say retention rate or, the ease of how easy it is to like you can learn a skill on how to drop fries like that. Training all that is quick.
That's
the counter argument to raising the price. But another counter argument is to, don't you think people will be more enthusiastic? How many times we go in restaurants and people, she don't look like she want to be here. It's miserable. Like obviously everything is a choice. You can argue everything. Everything's a choice, all of that. But make these people feel incentivized to promote your brand and whatever it is, and watch how that's going to change the retention rate, enthusiasm, and just the overall success of the brand.
And I'll say this, I've worked jobs I feel like on both ends of the spectrum, from no incentives to a lot. The job this past year, I'll speak on it. I worked at a golf course. We had a lot of incentives there, and I can tell you it was crazy stuff like free living, free food, free meals daily, lunch and dinner, free living. And obviously we got paid pretty good too. And the job, itself was enjoyable, but it's like having a job like that, it was a job I wanted to tell more of my friends about and come get to work there for me. So I'm bringing you more.
And you did.
And I brought a group. I brought maybe five friends, five minimum friends. Like into my second year working there, I brought them with me and got them put on. And it's like, so what? My point is, working at a job that incentivizes you, you're gonna want to work there. Like, so the retention rate, it's like, if I like being here and I'm getting paid enough, and my friends working here, everybody's just overall happy to be here because we're getting treated better than most jobs. Why wouldn't I keep working here? And funny enough, that job is a seasonal job.
Yeah.
And I went back season after season, and I have friends that went there for multiple seasons. Like, and the guests there always say, "Y'all are just so happy to be here. Y'all are so respectful." It's like we happy to be here because we getting treated like we should.
And the status will change once the value of the employees changes. So we don't say, hey, if you don't do your work, if you don't do this, you'll end up at McDonald's. Let's stop viewing that as let's downplay having a job. Wherever stage you are in your life, having a job is having a job. You know, living honest, doing that.
I'd rather work at McDonald's than to have no money coming in ever.
No money coming in, or to be, you know, you get in trouble and you got to serve some time for making money that was dishonest. So that's the biggest thing. So we talk about status, degrees, status, doctor, lawyer, status, which things are very important to have status. But a lot of things that don't have status is because of how people have been treated. You have athletes making millions of dollars a year. Not saying it's easy by any means to do what they do. We could live in a world without the NBA, without the NFL. We can't live in a world without medical professionals,
grocery store workers,
grocery stores. You know what I mean? So it's just like the status and the value of professional athletes is very high, which is it's not as many of them as a lot of other people, but you can see how somebody is deemed as a professional. You don't call somebody that's at McDonald's a professional.
Even though
I'm gonna just let that sit right there. Oh man.
Even though
perspective.
some of these people in these McDonald's restaurants work a lot harder than, like we said earlier, people with white collar jobs, people who sit in the office all day, make phone calls all day. A lot of these essentials workers work very, very hard.
Yeah. But yeah, man, bro. As you know, we could talk about I got so many things we could talk about right now, but we're gonna have a little fun right now. Hopefully y'all stuck with us. If you still watching, we appreciate you. We're about to do some you got them? You got the question?
I got them right here. Some would you rather questions. So obviously we both gonna answer, give a brief explanation as why you chose what you chose.
I hope you don't have no crazy questions.
Nah, first podcast, I was reasonable. I was like, all right, this ain't gonna be too bad.
I plead the fifth. That's my answer.
Yeah, so we got 5 coming up. So all right, here's the first one. Would you rather win the lottery or live twice as long? And when you answer, explain why.
I'm gonna go twice as long. Whatever it is, you know, God be willing, is longevity. I feel like the lottery is definitely something that a lot of people want to win, but I just feel like I'm gonna be wise and I feel like I'm gonna be happy. I mean, living long, I can be able to see my great grandkids
twice as long. Yeah.
So
I say the same. I mean, and what I'm gonna say is, you know, a little morbid. You can win a lottery and die the next day. So I'll take living.
Here we go.
I'll take living twice as long. I mean, you can win the lottery and get robbed or something like.
Okay, the question is too, how much?
The picture says Mega Millions. I don't know how much that is. That's probably hundreds of millions.
Like 600, 700. So
I don't want the attention to come and winning the lottery. Like, I don't need people I ain't talked to in years trying to hit me up, yada yada. Like, nah. I'll take
anonymous though.
Oh, that's true. Good point. I'll still take living twice as long.
All
right. This next one I'll answer first.
Please.
All right. Would you rather go way back in time and meet your ancestors, or go way into the future and meet your great grandchildren? I think I already know the answer is for you. I'm gonna say go into the future. I don't think I want to. I don't want to say I don't want to meet my ancestors, but you know, given our demographic, I don't want to go back to this question says pre-1800s. I don't want to go back to the pre-1800s, you know, as a black male. So I'll go meet my great grandchildren.
The thing I like about these is you always can add your own little stipulations to make it like, what if I visit them at night and nobody around and just say, hey, but yeah, I'm always intrigued about the future. Like I want to know, are the
It's
cars
gonna be
flying?
crazy.
So
I'm
gonna choose the future.
Post 2020, post 2200. Yeah.
Ooh, oh yeah, they're gonna be teleporting by then.
Yeah, we're gonna be living on some other planet by then, probably.
Yeah, that question.
All right, you can go ahead with this one first. All right, would you rather always know when someone is lying, or always get away with lying?
I always know when someone's lying because I'm not a saint, but you know I try to live right, try to walk on the path, you know, that's least traveled, less traveled. So honestly, I feel like I got that sense now. If you got that if you got that look in your eye,
you can read body language. Yeah,
allow me to go.
My only thing with that is just like, if I ask somebody who's lying, if they lying, they can just be like, I'm not gonna tell you. Then it's like my power is defeated.
No, but your power, it can go unnoticed. Nobody has to know.
Okay. You're right. I'll take that.
That'll just determine how you move.
Yeah, I'll take that too. I always know when someone's lying.
Hey bro, did you take the money out of my wallet? Nah. Power, yes. All right.
I'm
gonna keep looking.
I'm putting people in the hot seat.
So you want to be the one that can lie and nobody knows?
Yeah, I was thinking about that because it's just like I said, like what if I asked you, hey, you take the money out of my wallet, and they say I plead the fifth. That's not saying yes or no. So will my power still work, or would it be like, okay, well, they didn't answer technically?
The power will give you the intuition to know that they're lying, whatever they say.
You're right. Yeah, I'll take that. Always knowing someone's lying.
Oh.
Yeah, all right, we got two more. All right. Would you rather work more hours per day but less days, or the opposite, work less hours per day but more days? So I guess 8-hour shifts 5 days a week, or 12-hour shifts 3 days a week.
I'm gonna go work more days and less hours.
Mm-hmm.
Wait.
So less days, more hours. You're doing 8-hour 5 days a week.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna take that.
Like I said, that warehouse job was terrible. I'm gonna take that too. I'm gonna take 9 to 5, 5 days a week over 3 days, 12 hours. Like I can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't.
It depends on what you're doing too. Like I said, I love these questions because it's so much you can manipulate it for your own convenience.
All right. Next one. Would you rather have book smarts or have street smarts?
Trick question. I got both. Come on, man. But if we're being real, after everything that we talked about this podcast, I'm gonna go street smart.
Agreed. Street smart. I got a bonus one too that I heard the other day.
Oh, okay.
This is the last one. Would you rather make $50K a year but be your own boss, entrepreneur, or make $100K but be an employee?
See, that's a good one because at what
50K
stage are you making that 50K? Because that 50K next year could turn into
50K a year as your own boss, 100K as an employee. I'll go first. This may be controversial, but I'll take the 100K as an employee. I mean, like, I feel like I could take that, even though it's not technically 100K after taxes, but I could take that money, work that job for 1 year, quit, take the money, and especially if I got the knowledge I do now, apply it and double that, triple that, quintuple that. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, 50K is your own boss. It's like, my question is it even worth it at that point? If you not really even, I mean, I guess 50K is average.
I mean, like I'll say, I'm gonna take the 50 off the sole reason on it's not where you start, it's where you finish. And making 50K as a business owner is not bad at all. So even though you'll be working your year and you'll do that, I feel like just knowledge-wise and learning my business, I'll be a step ahead and I can be making your salary the next year.
Yep, I agree.
Due to my free time, me being on my own schedule. So, and honestly, like I said, whoever came up with this narrative that $50,000 is not a lot to live off of, which inflation is terrible. But if you're a single person by yourself, $50,000 is a lot of money. That's good money.
You think so?
If you young, or if you young and you don't have kids, you're not married yet, whatever.
You paying for your own house and stuff, or apartment.
$50,000 is not that bad. Like I said, you $50,000 as an entrepreneur, or got your own business. You don't have any employees yet. Like, it's so much that you can grow. Like 10 years from now, who's gonna be more far ahead? But yeah, it's about what you want at that time in your life. So 100K, and like it depends on what you're doing.
What you're doing and what you want. Yeah.
But yeah, man. Hey, first episode. Hey, we definitely got personal just because we want this podcast to be transparent, and we want anybody watching to get to know a little bit about us and to know that we have some unique perspectives about different topics. So as me and Cale, we got some heat coming later on throughout the school year. Even though we got a lot of basketball games stuff, but I think it's a good start, bro. What you think?
Yeah, man, I'm excited we finally got going. A lot of y'all don't know, but we've been talking for years, and especially talking about making a podcast for probably months now. So I'm just happy we got going, bro. And yeah, I'm definitely ready to film the next one.
For sure. Hey, and all the time before we leave, it's one podcast, two perspectives. So we thank y'all for watching. Like, subscribe, and hey, stay tuned for the next few episodes.
Yeah, appreciate y'all.